I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this frames, and I had to have them, sis. All fab. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color Grain makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Why so serious? What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, I cannot believe it, you all. It is my 3-year anniversary on YouTube. Like, come through. 3 years already, and it just seems like yesterday when we first started. And before we get into it, I want to remind you all, 1, that I love you, 2, that I appreciate you, and 3, we have a giveaway going on for this video. Every month, I have a series called Use It or Lose It. I'll leave that series right here. And I try to pick a couple palettes that I'm going to use, and any of those palettes I can't use, I have to declutter. Last month, I was not able to use my juviasplace Bronze Rustic as well as the new Candy Shop palettes, so I added those to a giveaway, and today the big day to announce it. All you have to do to enter is leave a comment down below. It has to be in the comment section, and be subscribed. I'm not sure how long we're going to leave this giveaway open for it, but I will have everything in the description bar. And I'm honestly thinking if my check looked the way I needed to this weekend, we're going to go in and go pick up another one of these Masquerade mini palettes, because I just thought about it. To announce the giveaway during this video, but not give y'all one of these palettes, that would be mean, because baby, I went and got me another one, because as you can see, she brand new and unused. So I need something to be able to continue on and go on with my life. But for sentimental purposes, honey, I couldn't do it. I couldn't use this new one. I had to pull out the original, my very first palette from Juvia's Place, honey. I know I used this palette over 3 years ago, but she's still fabulous. I still love her, and I promise y'all, we're going to put her up in the storage. We're not going to use her no more because we got a brand new one, and we don't want to risk getting no eye infection or anything. But tell me today's look ain't come to... Tell me I'm not looking fabulous, honey, but we'll never get this tutorial done unless we shut our mouth, Torrence. You always talking. But before we get started, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, and make sure you hit that notification bell. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and join, honey. It's free 99 every month. And as I just said, we got a giveaway going on, and you got to be subscribed to enter. So if you would like to know my opinion on this palette, you're going to have to wait to the end. But if you would like to know how I achieve this beautiful look, just wait till after swatches. First off, can we get into this gorgeous packaging? This is the outside of the Masquerade Mini by Juvia's Place, and this here is the very first eyeshadow palette that I ever purchased from the brand. Although this is a brand new palette, I still have my original, and we're going to show her later on. On the original palette that I have, it's completely blank on the back. On this current one here, not only does it give you the ingredients, but it also lets you know that it has a 24-month shelf life. Once inside, you can see why I love this color story so much. As you all know, I am a colorful eyeshadow lover. My favorite is greens. After that, it's purples. And then you could jump straight into those neutrals. And look at this palette here. Plenty of matte shades to start up your crease. Although this palette is shimmer heavy, there are 6 to 7 matte shades, so you do have options. And see, honey, get into it. Like, look at these swatches. One time, no primer, bare skin, and it's like, look at how pigmented, how smooth, how vibrant these colors are. And I used this palette on YouTube over 3 years ago, and everything still looks fabulous. So you know what? We're going to go ahead, swap the bottom half, and we're going to get into it because, baby, I wasn't expecting all of this. I promise y'all I wasn't. Now tell me, this second half of this palette could not have been released individually and sold out. Baby, get into how beautiful and how neutral this second half is. When you just look at it in the pan, you don't even expect this kind of variety. But once swatched out, you see the true beauty. But baby, although this second half is gorgeous, it's that first half we're looking at. So make sure you grab your brushes and let's go ahead and get things started. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and get things started. As with all tutorials, all tools and product shields will always be in the description bar below. So if I forget to mention anything, just make sure you check there. And baby, even though I've done this look so many times, it doesn't make sense. It's crazy to think that over the years, I've been able to achieve the exact same look using different tools and going in with different methods. Back in the day when I first started YouTube, I used to do my face first and then eyeshadow later, because if for any reason I got a call or something happened and I didn't have enough time to finish, I knew my base work was done. But now that I do YouTube, I like to do the eyes first in case I get fallout or anything. And plus it's easier to jump cut and switch that out. But I'm just sitting here looking like, oh my goodness, Torrence, my very first juviasplace palette. And I really did buy another one, which is sitting right here. She's the new one. This one here, as you see with no writing on it, is the old one. And I was supposed to use this one, but you know what? We're gonna do that the next one. Just one more round for old time's sakes, honey. I'm gonna pull out my old original one. Like, look at how deep these pans are in this version, honey. She got stains everywhere. You might not be able to see that up close, and we don't want to bring her no closer, but we've been talking long enough. We're going to start things off with our largest, fluffiest blending brush, and we're going to go into this shade here, Bori. We're going to use that as a transition and an outer V shade. And honey, ain't nobody got to tell you with a shade this vibrant, yes, tap off your excess. I went in for a bunch just because I'm excited, but we're going to take this outer in and blend her up as high into the crease as we can get her. She is going to be a transition shade. You see that pigmentation, honey? She is pigmented, and it's crazy to think that when I first got into colorful shadows, this is what I decided to use, because I'm sitting here like, honey, look at the pigmentation on her today. I know that had to scare me back then. And it was funny because what I used to do is take very small or very dense brushes and start off in the crease, and then I would take a clean brush and diffuse the edges. And although it truly got the job done, I realized it was a little easier for me to just start off with a bigger brush and just build the color up with darker shades and more intensity in the crease, because like with that, she's already diffused, she's already blown out. I don't need another brush to do the job, but we're gonna take this and just continue to diffuse things. And I don't want to do a second layer up here in the transition area because you see she's pigmented. But for the lower crease, I'm going to take and try to get her in there. And then I'm going to go in with my color on one side of the brush. We don't have to worry about tapping it off. And just pressing her all the way in there, honey. You can take it up to halfway if you want. It really doesn't matter because we're going to put lid shades over it. But I just want to make sure I get rid of as much color off my brush as I can, and that she's as deep and dark as possible. Yes, hon. And whatever's left, go back into the crease, deepen things up. And yes, ma'am, I can definitely tell we're a lot faster than we used to be. Just looking at my crease is already taking me back. But I need to add a little more depth and dimension. So we're going to take our smallest blending brush and we're going to apply this shade here, Zobo. It's a matte purple shade, and we're going to first apply all that color to the outer V, then we'll blend in whatever we have left into the crease. Now with this shade Zobo, honey, she pigmented as well, but because we want to save this for the outer V, we're not going to get rid of all of it. We're going to press that down first. And this is a very small brush because I just want things to be accentuated. My lid shade is purple, but I wanted that transition to stand out loud and pink. Once we have that in there, I'm going to slowly build her up into the crease. I just do not want a harsh line, but I still wanted everything to come off looking rather hot Barbie pink for me. We can go in and add more layers. We want to add just enough for that purple to come through and shine. We can go through, do one more, tap her off, and go straight into the crease this time. When I first started doing this look, I honestly didn't like doing crease work because I had hooded lids. What I used to always do is use this step to diffuse the to diffuse the lid shades. I was about to say the transition, but I don't want this to be taken away. I want you to still be able to tell that that is a pink smoke, because the purple lid is going to do everything. And just because I think I might have lost a little bit, I'm going to put a little more right here. That'll be enough. Now it's time to go in and cover our lids. And baby, when I tell you, for a while I've been loving this product. When I got into YouTube, I've always loved the glitter primer from NYX. I had just finished up my first Too Faced one and had switched over. And when I realized they was comparable, but the price difference was drastic, never went back. But what has never changed is, I still love this Morphe brush, honey. This M421 brush, she's gorgeous. And although nowadays I do way more cut creases, back then I used to just be worried about my lid shade jumping or moving. So what we're gonna do is just cover our lids. We're gonna take it as high as we can, but I'm honestly not trying to do a cut crease. I just wanna leave some space for that outer V work. We just wanna make sure everything is covered. And I wanna try to keep this rather low so I can always have that option to buff up my shimmer shades like I used to. I'll leave it like that. Now it's time for some lid shades. We're going to use two different shimmers. For the inner half, we're going to use this dark purple here, Makita. For the outer half, we're going to use this vivid blue here, Dahlia. We're going to take this, and I always have to say out loud when I'm doing my shimmers, Torrence, do not take this all the way over. I will get so caught up in how pretty things are and forget the fact that I need space for the next shade. And next thing you know, it won't be none. So I'm trying to remind myself right there, baby, look at how the pigmentation on this bad boy is stunning. She's absolutely beautiful. And we're going to leave that like that first, because we always want to have space to blend her up and into this next shade, because I don't know how far I'm going to take her on the other side. And to pick up the blue shade Dahlia, I just flip my brush over. We're going to take this and pack this on this side here. And I want to try to stop it in the same area in the crease, and then just start to blend those together. Because even though they are two separate colors, I'm not the biggest fan of harsh lines, honey. I'm going to blend this blue closer to the front, because I don't mind being able to go back over it with that purple. But this outer V, we want to be rather slow, blending her back that way, honey. Bow, bow, bow. And just because we here, normally I would have called it that, but we ain't gonna lie. This palette is a little older, and I want my outer V just a little bit darker. So I'm gonna go in with my tiny brush again, and that shade Zobo, and we just gonna try to pack this right here, just to try to get her as dark as we can before we clean things up. Alright you guys, this is all we're going to do for the top of the lids now. I'm going to cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off the lower lash line. Okay you guys, we are back, and I must say, I've been having a whole lot of fun playing with a lot of the items. Off camera, I decided to finish my face, and while doing so, I was watching my original video again to make sure I knew exactly which products I used back then. Thing is, I can't use exactly all of them, and I'll explain why. If I forget to mention anything, remember, check out the description bar below. They'll always be there, but let's get into it. First off, for foundation. In that original video, I remember wearing the Maybelline Dewy and Smooth in the shade 330. The problem is 330 was way too dark, and honestly speaking, almost everything I did for my complexion back in the day was too dark, because one, I was not about to do no white cast, and two, I always did most of my shade matching and things like that in the middle of summer when I was my absolute darkest, but did not change that up for winter. So a lot of times I was wearing my summer shade in winter. But this here is the Maybelline Dewy and Smooth. It says mix, so I know it's a mixture of 330 and something else. I know I have it written down somewhere, but it's not on this bottle. I believe it's either a mixture of 315 or 300, but I'm not sure. I just have that over there because I got tired of trying to mix by hand, so I got a bottle with a pump. What else do we have going on? My usual highlighter, Oh Darling by MAC. She's my favorite, and that other one that I showed y'all in that first video 3 years ago, she is now gone, but we do have another one, and you see. What happened to that first one is what happened to this one, and honestly, within the next year, we might go ahead and finish grinding her up for good. Favorite blush of all time, also from juviasplace, this is the Serafina blush. When I tell you, this highlighter stays right here on my desk. This blush, the same, she never leaves. A lot of people like NARS Orgasm. She's not dark or peach enough for me. This shade here is absolutely gorgeous. She stays right here. Same thing for contour. The KVD Vegan Beauty and the shade Subconscious. This is their Shade and Light Contour Duo. I only use the contour shade here in Subconscious, but it's a compact, makes it easier to carry them around, so I keep that with me. What else do we have? On the lips, honey. Because I've loved it since the very first time I tried it. It was the very first shade, my most repurchased shade, my favorite lip gloss. This is the Fenty Glow Gloss Bomb by Fenty Beauty. The shade Fenty Glow to me is just the perfect shade. To me, it's right up there with clear. She's a universal, I believe, mauve nude or rose nude, but she's gorgeous. Look at her there. I have no liner, no nothing with her, and my lips look juicy, they look plump, and I'm somebody who absolutely loves a lip liner, but I was like, Torrence, you didn't wear one in that previous look, so we wanted to grab her, but we didn't. But what we did sneak and grab, because we wasn't wearing an eyeliner in that first look, was our favorite purple eyeliner. Psychedelic Sister by Urban Decay. I just needed a little something for that lower lash line, because I'm like, baby, you never did that before in the last one. And I'm like, Torrence, if you're not gonna go in and smoke out your lower lash line the way you want to, I'm still trying to tell myself we can't go ahead and do it, because I'm like, this is an updated version, but I don't remember doing my lower lash line in that previous look, so. Now this here is part of the tutorial where I would normally go in, buff out my lower lash line. But back in the day, I tried to avoid that, so we're gonna stick to it again. So we just gonna jump into my favorite part, highlighting my inner corners and my brows. Normally, I like to stick to the eyeshadow palette for first impressions, but because you know we've been doing this for 3 years, honey, I'm gonna bring out my face highlighter. We're just gonna grab our MAC, which one is this? 242 brush, old school, baby. I might have switched out most of my MAC brushes, but nothing has been able to dethrone this one. And we're gonna use this, actually, let me pick up a little bit more. We're gonna use this to highlight our inner corners first, because that's where I want the highest beam. And baby, look at this color right here. And when I tell y'all, you see that beam? The same color that's right here on the cheek is that color that's beaming right there, and she is gorgeous. And you know what? We're gonna layer her up a little wider and buff her out a little stronger just to make sure she popping for today. Make sure, sis, I am ecstatic. And we're gonna take what's ever left and use that to highlight our brow bone. Baby, I know she gonna shine bright like a diamond come through. Look at, yes ma'am. And now that we're finished with this look, it's no point in doing all this work unless we're gonna lock it in. So make sure you grab your setting sprays, because you know I'm about to grab mine. And you all know the routine, let's get into it. Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All nighter, so things will last all day. Sheet Fan, Expensive Breeze, Good Times. I'm going to give this a few more moments to dry, and I'll be back to give you all my final thoughts. And here's the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, honey, of course I love this palette. You don't have to ask me, you don't have to guess. The fact that one is from juviasplace and two, it was my very first tutorial. Like, you thought I was gonna come in with a dud? And to know that I love this palette, but most times I usually try not to do this look because this look takes me back. It gets me in my feelings, but every single time I do it, I absolutely enjoy it. And it's sort of bittersweet to think that I'm trying to tell myself, okay, officially today, Torrence, this needs to be the last day you use this palette because she is old. And as with all palettes, I don't consider any palette perfect unless usually I make it myself. And every palette has its pros and cons, and this one is the same. And I realized when I did my first video, I never gave this an actual review. It was just a tutorial. So if you want to know the pros and cons of this palette, let's get into it. First off, for pro packaging, you all know, I think juviasplace does the best artwork in makeup, and I love it. Another pro is the number of shades you get in here. 16 colors. 16 shades to me means I should be able to create a complete look and I should not have to dip out of that palette to do so. And I feel as if every time I want to do a full eye look, I can do so with just this palette. Another pro is the fact that as someone who loves colorful shades but also likes some neutrals to round it out, the fact that this entire top half is bold colorful shades and this entire bottom half is neutrals, it gives you the option to go either way to the extreme. This here is something I used to always wear to work because I work behind the scenes. But if for any reason I needed to go up to that front office or they needed me to do some secretary work or something for the day, I could use this exact same palette, stick to this bottom half, and nobody would know. This is one of those things I call, work all day, party all night, or work in the morning, club at night. Honey, this palette is perfect for that. Another pro for me is the price. I believe right now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'll leave the price up here. I think she retails for $25, but that's full price. You can still get that on sale a lot of times at the Ulta website or the juviasplace website. But even if they aren't having sales, Ulta usually has a $3.50 off coupon, and I usually can find this in store. So you only have to pay around $21, $22 before taxes, which is beautiful. But I'm telling you, a lot of times you can catch this bad boy for up to half off. So I will wait and try to get it because this is one of their older palettes. Because I love y'all, we got to keep it honest. One of the cons that I got to mention is the fact that when you look in this palette, the top row is nice and beautiful and colorful. The thing is, if you wanted to do an all matte neutral look, you can do that here. If you wanted to do an all matte colorful look, the only two shades you have is this purple and this pink. If you wanted to do something that went with this blue, this green, or, well, those are two blues. I'm like, these two blues and this green, you're gonna have to go in with the neutral or with those purple shades in order to get this going. It would have been nice if that whole top row was metallics and this whole bottom row was matte shades to correlate with those, but they didn't do that. I'm honestly not upset because when I first got into makeup, I think I would have been scared to blend out a matte green or a matte blue, but it would be nice to have them there. So I do have to take points from that if you do go with one of these top rows, more than likely you're gonna have to grab a neutral from the bottom, but they play beautifully. Another con, just for my personal taste, most people may not notice, but for me, I always like either a matte black or a matte white or something extremely close to those. As someone, as you see, I created a faux wing here. It would have been beautiful to have a pitch black or a really darkened brown to go even deeper with this. On those days, I want to go neutrals, or if for any reason I wanted to do an all neutral matte look. I don't feel as if I have any bright lid shades. The only shimmers I have is these two, and although they are gorgeous, for many people with texture issues or many people who are much older or just like an all matte look, this will not provide that. But other than that, honey, if you were to ask me, do I recommend this palette? Do I love this palette? Yes, ma'am. There's no doubt about it. If you see her and you want her, I say grab her. I promise you all, we are not going to do any more YouTube videos with this palette because knowing that she's 3 years old and it's been 3 years on YouTube, is like, the love and the support and the experience has been amazing. I want to say thank you all to any and everyone who has ever supported the channel. Whether that be subscribed, whether you've liked, whether you shared, anything you've done to help bring attention to my channel, I want to say I thank you and I love you. And I don't want to drag this video out because, baby, I know I'm going to get emotional. So what we going to make sure we do tonight is disinfect this palette and put her back in storage because I pulled her out to get this video done. When I tell you, this is the same purple shirt. I went to the storage unit to pull this bad boy out. And another thing that I even pulled out from my makeup collection is because I always told y'all, I've been trying to depot these, well not depot, finish these for so long that I've got accustomed to, over the years, accidentally dropping the cap to these down the sink and not being able to find it because it is so tiny. Look what I found on the side of my Masquerade mini thing. This here is the cap to a Too Faced, I believe, what is it called? Glitter glue. When I first got into makeup, everybody talked about how amazing glitter glue was. I wanted it and I got it. And it wasn't until I had to repurchase her that I realized she was in the 20s. And this next one was about $5, $6. And guess what? This cap screws and fits right on top of there. So if for any reason I ever drop one of these caps down the sink, I keep this Too Faced one with me just to remind me that she fits perfectly. She refuses to fit down there because I got me a drain that won't allow it. And it's just little things like that that lets you all know. Makeup is very important to me. It's very sentimental to me. And to know I still got my old palette. I still got the old cap. I got the old shirt. This first video and this channel means a lot to me. And I just want to say thank you once again. And I almost forgot that I do have a giveaway going on this video, baby. Best of luck with that. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it open, but I will have all the information in the description bar. And remember, there will only be 2 rules to this giveaway. 1, you must be subscribed. 2, you must leave a comment down in the comment section. Because more than likely this video will have a live chat, there is a difference between the live chat section and the comment section. You have to leave a comment there. And I think we're just going to go ahead and leave this alone and cut this off because it is Valentine's Day. I want to step out and show everybody how cute and nice my makeup is. Even though I'm single, somebody gonna see this. So with nothing else, I hope y'all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next year, goodbye YouTube.